Welcome back to another episode of Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. We have some sombering news tonight. We have we threw Shally off the show. He's no longer invited back. We kicked him out. He's not here again, and it's it. I'm tired of it. I'm kidding. Shally's sick. He might join us if he feels a little better. He's battling a tummy ache. I'm kidding. He's sick. I seen him yesterday. He was like dying. But I'm the NFL genius, G Molzek, and to my left, I have Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, college, Cuttrell.
Gene, sounds like you're battling a little bit of something too. You know, I don't know what's going on up there in PA, but you guys got to start to figure it out. The weather's starting to change. You know, I need you guys to get it together here.
Well, the weather outside is weather. No, I'm not battling anything. What happened is this. I played in a one-pitch tournament on Sunday, and I'll be honest with you. It's the only tournament I've ever entered where I was like, if we lose this tournament, I don't even know if I'd be upset. Like, especially if we lose early. Like, I don't, like, want to play all day. I moved on Saturday. I unpacked on Monday. The tournament was on Sunday. We ended up playing 5 games, but we won. So if you win, it makes it all better. But my voice is hoarse from screaming, go, go, go. Like, that's literally what I did the whole day.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that's good. That's good that Bill wasn't an influence in your health there. So that's good to hear that it's from screaming, not from whatever's in the air.
When there's big softball games, 100%, my voice gets hoarse afterwards. But I'm ready. My voice will be back in action for sideline to sideline tomorrow night and for the opening week of NFL football, starting with the world champion Philadelphia Eagles. I'm fired up. By the way, Control, are you of the notion that the Eagles can call themselves the world champions? Because I know how much of a crybaby you are about the NBA.
Well, considering there is no other big-time football leagues, absolutely not. No.
CFL?
That's not a big time football league.
UFL?
That's also not a big time football league.
There's no other big time basketball leagues.
You say that, but when you have teams like Real Madrid and you have Euro, like there are NBA players that have to go play overseas, and you have World Cups of basketball. Like there is no World Cup of football. We're getting flag football for the first time ever in the Olympics in 2028. With basketball, every year there's some sort of world competition of some sorts, whether it be, you know, the Euros or the World Championships or the Olympics, that happens every single year. With football, that's not the case. So I'm fine with it in football, but in basketball, you want the world champ moniker, go earn it at the World Championships or at the Olympics or FIBA World Cup, whatever the case may be.
And then they do that?
They did. They definitely did. They did. But when the first comment came out, they didn't.
Noah Lyles, crybaby. You give Noah Lyles all this blah, blah, blah. He's a crybaby. Screw him. Screw Noah Lyles and everybody else on their horse. All right, we got to get into a show. We got a lot to get into. I'm fired up. Let's get rolling. Let's start with some hot wire action. Contrell, where are we headed?
So we are going to start with the breaking news that actually happened today. We are going to the world of basketball. You know, you talk about, you know, world champions and things like this. Well, Kawhi Leonard, you know, is a former world champion. Kawhi Leonard is a guy who got a ton of money from the Los Angeles Clippers, and it was reported today that Kawhi Leonard signed a $28 million endorsement with a fraudulent tree planting company funded by Clippers owner Steve Ballmer to circumvent the salary cap rules. Now, of course, there is a ton more to still potentially come out from this, but this is rather fresh. The last time this happened, it was the Minnesota Timberwolves getting caught with their hand in the cookie jar when they signed Joe Smith to a lucrative extension there. And I believe they were forced to forfeit 5 first-round picks moving forward there. So, Gene, just kind of going off that and kind of knowing that and knowing what we know so far, I guess, what's your immediate reaction to this Kawhi Leonard situation there with Steve Ballmer and the LA Clippers?
I try my absolute best. I did it with Otani, and I'm going to try to do it with Kawhi Leonard. But there's no way that they didn't use this as a way to sign him to LA. But we'll figure out other ways to get you millions of dollars. He made $28 million off of this. Am I correct when I say that?
Yep.
An extra $28 million. Hey, listen, we can't pay you more than the Lakers or Raptors, but we'll cheat the system and find this painting company and get you some money on the side. Is that not like, did I read that wrong?
No, I mean, essentially that's what it is. It's a no-show contract with the tree planting company where he doesn't really have to do anything, and he just gets this $28 million from them, and it's funded by the Clippers owner, Steve Ballmer.
They're absolutely, and by the way, I'd like to know if Steve Ballmer regrets that decision. I would love to know. I wouldn't be. No, Steve Ballmer didn't put it out, but in my mind, I wouldn't be shocked if he put it out. Like, I just got to get him off there. Maybe we can get him suspended.
I think the funny thing too is that there's little rumblings and rumors out there that Kawhi Leonard ultimately tried to get the Raptors to do something to this extent as well before he left. Like, hey, the Clippers are offering me, this kind of deal. Can we potentially do this off the books and things like that? So I think it'll be very interesting to see how this all plays out here. But the one thing that makes this a little bit different than that Timberwolves situation that I mentioned earlier is that the Clippers don't have first-round picks here in the near future because of their acquisitions of a lot of their players. Like the Paul George deal, they sent Oklahoma City a ton of first-round picks, and clearly we know who won that trade already. So it'll be very interesting to see how it all plays out here, and especially given the fact, one, Kawhi has not really been healthy in his entire tenure. He's only had like one healthy season since he's been with the Clippers. But then just two, knowing that these punishments are probably going to start hitting when the next couple of years here, and Kawhi potentially could be out of the league completely if he continues this trajectory of having all these injuries and things like that. We know Paul George is obviously no longer a Clipper there, but Bradley Beal is old. James Harden is old. Like, there's so many pieces of this team that are old. And if you're hitting them with future losses there. So if you kill them in their development of potential future players there, and these old guys are going to be out, the Clippers might be in a spot where they're just in purgatory for a really long time. But this could be something that really sets them back for a really long time.
The nursing home. I love it, Keith. It is a nursing home. Look, I don't want to be that guy, but I would take away their mid-level exception. I would take away anything that they could use as far as take it away. Take away $20 million from their salary cap. Whatever amount of money he made. I would screw them. So they need to do that. Has got to be suspend a player for a year. Suspend Kawhi for the whole year. Like, that's cheating. 100% cheating. Am I wrong?
No, I mean it's definitely cheating. Like, there's no doubt about it, and especially knowing that the NBA and Adam Silver, they literally put in place, rules so that players weren't getting, not necessarily players weren't getting overpaid, but that these rosters weren't getting too crazy with that second apron. Like, there's a reason why the second apron exists now, and players getting an additional $28 million is a big part of that. So you can't just go around the rules and say, hey, we'll throw you this $28 million under the table and expect it to just be all sunshines and rainbows and things like that. So I'm looking forward to what the NBA's decision is and what the investigation also turns up. But I'm honestly hoping that they throw the book at them. I'm right there with you, Tony, and I want to see them. I want to see them with a pretty stern punishment here.
It's a lot different than Nike signing him for 28. Granted, I know it's not Nike. It's a lot different than that, Alex. He didn't have to do anything. Steve Ballmer funded a company to pay him $28 million off the books so they can pay him more money than the Lakers and Raptors. Like 100% wrong. A lot different than an endorsement deal.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately though, I don't know what the exact wording is within like the CBA and things like this, but if it's a no-show in a no-show contract, you have literally no reason to have him do anything. Like he doesn't have to go show up for events. He doesn't have to sign any autographs. He doesn't have to market the company. He's not in commercials. Like you're essentially saying, hey, I know you. I'm giving you $28 million for these services that you're doing for me on the court. And I'm just using this as a write-off basically on my taxes. So
Absolutely.
it just feels very fraudulent there. And I think that's the bigger part of it. Like if he had said, hey, I have, I'm sure Steve Ballmer has a ton of rich friends. And he was like, hey, sign an endorsement deal with them. They'll give you $28 million. Go be in a couple commercials for them, whatever the case may be. And, that'll circumvent the money that you're getting from the salary cap. I still don't think that's necessarily right, but at least it would make more sense than the money is coming directly from the owner to you for literally nothing. Like you don't have to do anything for it, and you're getting $28 million.
Fact. Next one. Next topic.
All right. So this next one happened the day after our show. So it's kind of old news now, but it's new to us because this is our first show since it happened. The Dallas Cowboys have decided to trade Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark. I know when it first happened in our group message, there was a ton of shock between, all three of us. I saw you text the message and I was like, no way this is real. And then, of course, I'm getting blown up. Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, all those guys talking about it in the conversation there. Gene, what was your immediate reaction to the trade here? And I'm curious to know, without going too far in depth, I'm curious to know your outlook on the Packers moving forward and then the Cowboys moving forward without Micah.
So my immediate reaction was trying to figure out a winner and loser. I do that with every trade. I try to find a winner and a loser on the trade. I think both teams lost. I really do. Like, I really believe that both teams lost the trade. I'll give you an example, right? The Dallas Cowboys cannot stop the run, but Micah was their only real pass rusher. Like, really, like the only guy that was getting after the quarterback. So you traded a young in his prime pass rusher for a guy that's older, that's not getting re-signed to Green Bay, probably won't re-sign with you, as a very good interior run stuffer. The problem is you could easily run the ball to the outside because Dallas does not have depth on the edge. I think that's hilarious from Dallas's perspective. Put it to you this way. If they would have signed Micah Parsons to that extension, I don't think that wins for them either. If I had to pick a winner in the trade, I'd pick Dallas. Even though they have 2 first-round draft picks that look like mystery boxes, and I feel like they're in definite win-now mode anyway. Dak Prescott got signed to a huge contract. CeeDee Lamb got signed to a huge contract. You got to sign Trevon Diggs to a huge contract. So they needed to not sign one of them. They chose the wrong one, and they elected for the mystery box, which is the first-round draft pick. The mystery box is not going to be Michael Parsons. Let's move over to Green Bay. Green Bay traded 2 first-round picks and their best interior run stopper for the opportunity to overpay Micah Parsons. Is he better than Myles Garrett? Is he better than TJ Watt?
No.
I don't think he's better than either one of them, but he's getting paid $47.5 million. Oh, and by the way, it's not a team-friendly structured deal. Jordan Love is signed to an over $50 million contract. It's not a team-friendly structured deal. There's no owner in Green Bay that's eating a bunch of the cap money by like bonusing the money. Green Bay is in absolute win now mode. So let's look back at what Green Bay needs to do. If I had asked you, Cottrell, who are the two biggest threats to Green Bay? What two teams would you name?
I would say the Eagles. And then because of their division, I probably would go Lions, although
Perfect. Set me up
probably
perfect.
wouldn't
That's
go.
exactly what I want.
Okay.
I wanted those two teams. What two teams were number 1 and number 2 in the NFC last year at running the football?
The Eagles and the Lions.
Oh, cool. And who is the best run defender on the Packers?
Kenny Clark.
It doesn't make sense. Because now you look at the Eagles-Packers game, the Packers didn't lose that game because of their defense. They lost that game because they turned the football over. Because their wide receivers were hurt. Because they couldn't score. The game score was 22-10. But if you remember, the opening kickoff, they fumbled. The Eagles scored a touchdown right out the gate.
Yep.
88 out the gate. The Eagles ran the ball a ton for not a lot of yards. Saquon had 125 in the game, but he had like 28 carries. I think when you look at this trade, it's a bad move for both football teams. Is Micah Parsons on the Packers make them a better football team? Yes. Does it help them beat the Eagles or Lions? No. And that's where so like when I look at that trade, I go, okay, both teams lost. What was your thoughts?
So for me, I mean, I definitely think that the Packers won the trade because I think they're getting the best player in the deal. And I get it. 2 first-round picks is steep for a guy who isn't the I would expect, like, if that deal would have happened for a Myles Garrett or a TJ Watt, to your point, I think you can stomach that a little bit more. But I also think that with Micah, the Cowboys have limited him to being a pass rusher because that is obviously what he excels at. But let's not forget, like, Micah can play linebacker. Micah can, move around a ton. He's a phenomenal athlete. And he's only, I believe he's 26 years old as well there. So he has a lot for him. And I do think Green Bay, in the right system there, they can move him around and have a ton of success there with him. On the flip side of it, with the Cowboys, I know it's not the NBA, so I won't say the first round picks won't matter, but I expect the Packers to be in the playoffs the next 2 years here. So those are going to be high picks. And can those still be impact players? Absolutely. Did they get Clark? Yes. I mean, I think he will be good. But at the same time, though, to me, this, like, any crack of a window that the Cowboys had, to me, this completely shut it. Because to your point, they don't get after the passer. Micah Parsons was getting after the passer last year pretty much by himself, and it didn't really matter because there was nothing behind him. So there's still nothing behind him, and even if they do a better job of stopping the run this upcoming year, teams are going to still be able to have their way because they're going to have all the time in the world in the pocket. And so I understand that Dallas had to pay or not pay somebody, and Micah Parsons ultimately ended up being that casualty there. The reality is it should have been Dak. And I think we all know of the big 3 guys, with Dak, or big 4, I should say, with Dak, CD, Trevon Diggs, and Micah Parsons. If we're talking Madden overall ratings, we all know Dak is the worst one out of those guys. As far as being elite at their position, Dak is the lowest level from being elite there. So I thought it was a very puzzling move for Dallas. I don't see them. I think they're spending a ton of money in a lot of places for them not to be in a position to win now. And then on the flip side of it there for the Packers, I think, to your point about the salaries and the cap, if they were in a situation like the Commanders where they had a quarterback on a rookie deal, I'd have no problem with them giving Micah Parsons $47.5 million. But the fact that you're already giving your quarterback, $50 million. So basically between your quarterback, who has the potential to be a top 10 guy, but really is somewhere in that 11 to 15 range, and you're also giving, a pass rusher basically $50 million. You're tied up in $100 million between two pieces. And to your point as well, neither of them are going to be the reason why you win or lose more games in the playoffs in the upcoming season. So troubling, but I can at least appreciate the Packers saying, hey, we're going to go try and make a splash and ultimately see what happens there. I just don't know if this was the move for them. I would have preferred them to go get a splash piece on offense, because a lot of people like their receiving core just with the depth that they have. I would prefer them to be spending $30 million on a bona fide receiver one, as opposed to $47.5 million on a guy defensively who isn't, the most impactful guy at his position.
I look at the Cowboys like I look at, I just, we all know who Dante Fowler is. We've watched Dante Fowler play in football for the last 6 years, right?
Yep.
Is he a good run stopper?
That's not how he makes his money.
No, he makes his money because he's a speed edge rusher. Mozzie Smith has been an absolute failure of a first-round draft pick. Their other defensive end now is a guy by the name of Sam Williams. He was a second-round pick out of Ole Miss like 4 years ago. He is 6'4", 261. He's not getting after the quarterback. You run it Fowler, you pass it Sam Williams. It's a really easy concept when you play Dallas. I think it's a hilarious trade. I'm happy the trade went through.
Of course.
It destroys the Packers cap, and it ruins the Cowboys pass rush.
And I just don't understand either. If you're the Cowboys, paying Micah just seemed so easy. Like when we were talking about this a year ago, 2 years ago, when we knew it was inevitable that it was coming up, Micah was probably the one guy. I mean, CD, of course, has been phenomenal as well, but Micah was the one guy who was like, he plays when he's hurt. He's consistent. He is moved all over. You want him to play linebacker, he'll do it. You want him to come off the edge, he'll do it. It just felt like he was a no-brainer. Like he was the Dallas Cowboys. When it came to recruiting players, like, hey, we want them to come to Dallas. He was a big part of, trying to get Derrick Henry to Dallas last year. Like he's always the guy that's advocating for Dallas, even when he sounds insane while doing so. Like some people might be like, hey, my team is mediocre. And, I'm proud that I play for them, but I'm not going to go out here and say outlandish things. Micah Parsons didn't care about none of that. Micah Parsons was out there telling you, like, they get beat down by the Eagles, that the Cowboys can still win the Super Bowl and stuff like that. Like, he was delusionally a Cowboy at heart. So for them to just go out and basically just trade him away because Jerry got his feelings hurt in terms of negotiations, it's absolutely bonkers to me.
That's Jerry. Let's move on.
Last topic that we touched on a little bit last week when the NFL stopped that, I believe it was number 14 or 15 with Jared Goff. We have now been shown the full list of the NFL top 100. I know you talked about it a little bit this morning on Coffee and Sports, but Gene, just wanted to get your reactions to the 14 through 1. If there's anybody that's stuck out in terms of being too low or potentially being too high, and just kind of get a feel for what your thoughts were with it.
I think Penei Sewell being ranked 13th is a little wild. Let me start there. Him being ahead of Lane Johnson's wrong. I think Trey Hendrickson being ranked 14th is a little wild, just given my personal opinion. I think the top 11 are the top 11 players in the world. You could put a randomizer on. If any of them popped out into number 1 through 11, I can make an argument. You could literally shuffle the deck. Like if Josh Allen was 1, he won the MVP last year. Yep. Lamar was 1. He won 2 MVPs already. If Pat was 1, he won 3 Super Bowls. If Myles Garrett was 1, he's the most disruptive player in football.
Yep.
You can put a randomizer on. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, PS2, Defensive Player of the Year. You can put a goddamn randomizer on, and no one's going to have an issue with any part of the list. What I found interesting was the gap between Saquon and Derrick Henry, Jamar and Jettis. I think 6'7", 3'4", call it a day. Put them right next to each other. You want to put Jamar over Jettis because of last season? You want to put Saquon over Derrick Henry because you think he's better? Fine. 3'4", 6'7", call it a day. 1'7", 4'9". I almost felt like that made the top 10 weirder. Is that fair for me to say that?
No, it definitely did. Like seeing how close like Myles Garrett and TJ Watt were, seeing how close the quarterbacks were with Lamar and Josh. Like, granted, you're going to have a different order depending on who you talk to about the top 4 guys. We all know the top 4 guys are the top 4 guys, like through and through. People have their differences and opinions about where they fall. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I thought that Derrick Henry kind of being where he was at, I thought in a sense made sense because of Derrick Henry's great. Like, I'm not going to slight him by any means. Like, I don't want to like come on here and act like he's not the greatest, one of the greatest running backs, in the league right now, because he 100% is. He's a top 2 back in the league. Saquon Barkley, though, does add a different dynamic because of his ability to catch it out of the backfield. And, him being behind the Eagles offensive line definitely plays a part into it. So I'm okay with, the notion that Saquon should have been a couple spots higher, but 6 slots higher is a ton for me. I was honestly surprised also to see that he was ultimately at number 1, and as great of a season as he had last year, absolutely phenomenal, 2,000 yards, all that is good. I was just surprised to see ultimately Saquon be the one who was in that top spot there, especially not one of those quarterbacks who, we're so accustomed to seeing in the top spot as far as like rankings like this go.
Okay. Well, what you just said, I want to argue. I want to be an arguer. I hope you don't have it in front of you. I just want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Who do you think had more total yards, Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley?
I'd imagine Saquon.
That's correct. Saquon Barkley had more total yards.
Yep.
That's rushing and receiving. Who do you think had more yards per carry, Derrick Henry or Saquon?
Probably Derrick Henry.
That's correct. 5.9 yards per carry versus 5.8. Who do you think had more touchdowns, Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley?
Probably Derrick Henry. Saquon was getting lack of touches in the red zone after
the tush push. Agreed. Okay. Who do you think had more attempts, rushing attempts?
Saquon Barkley.
345 to 325. So Saquon Barkley had 100 more yards, 200 more total yards, but he did it on 40 more attempts and 14 more catches. He did it. He scored less touchdowns and he had less yards per carry. I don't think they're different. I can argue either side. I don't want to trash it. I love Saquon. Saquon's my favorite part of the Eagles right now. But for me to pretend that there's a gap, and this is my whole thing, I try my absolute hardest to be objective. I want to say Saquon is without a doubt the best running back in football. But there's no difference in the player. They play on good teams behind good offensive lines. The difference is Saquon Barkley won the Super Bowl. And if the Baltimore Ravens would have handed the ball to Derrick Henry 30 times, maybe the Baltimore Ravens would have too. But they didn't, because they were running the ball down the Buffalo Bills' throat and they weren't able to be stopped. And they went away from the run. I think they're 3-4. When I look at this list, I think you want to put Saquon 3, Derrick Henry 4, fine. You want to put Derrick Henry 3, Saquon Barkley 4, fine. I think they're 3-4. He had 1,921 yards last year. That's a really good year.
Oh, without a doubt.
Who's a better offensive line?
The Eagles.
Who has a better receiving core?
The Eagles.
You're saying there was more people in the box versus Derrick Henry? I'm not trying to be that guy, I'm just saying, like, let's be objective about it. I love Saquon. I would take Saquon over Derrick Henry on my team. But, like, I want to be objective. And objectively speaking, they're not 1-7. They're 3-4.
I do think, and again, to your point, I do think they are closer in ranking. But as far as, I mean, like, if I'm talking about the two of them, like, I think Saquon Barkley is more of a threat to break a game open. Like, I think with Derrick Henry, like, of course, he can have the big time play. Like, we saw him break off 80-yard runs and things like that. But that game against the Rams, like, it literally felt like, oh, Saquon Barkley said, I'm not losing this game and I'm taking it over and we're going to the NFC Championship game. Absolutely. And granted, you know, Derrick Henry has the ability to do that as well, but like, that's one part of Saquon's game. Saquon can also get it off of a screen and go the distance. There will be a legit threat in the passing game.
There's a difference of 100 yards in receiving and 14 receptions. He's not a good pass catcher. That's a lie.
Is he better than Derrick Henry?
Yes. But it's Derrick. Let me ask you a question real quick. How many times has Derrick Henry been completely stuffed in a game? Derrick, you're right. Saquon hits the home run more often. But does Derrick Henry not get you 4 or 5? Bang, bang, bang. And by the way, when the Baltimore Ravens decide they want to line up and ram it and destroy you and run it down your throat, they can't be stopped. So once again, I will take Saquon over Derrick, but I'm not saying I think they're 3-4. I don't think they're 1-7.
I don't think they're 1-7 either. So we're on the same page there. I'm just saying, like,
anything else you found egregious?
Not. I mean, the Jettas and Jamar thing, I think, is also like right up there with that. And I get it. Jamar Triple Crown last year. Like, Jamar couldn't be touched last year. But I also think, like, Jettas has been consistent with whoever's been his quarterback there. I think that, you know, whether it be Sam Darnold or Kirk Cousins, like, Jettas has had it going on. And I don't imagine it being any different if Jettas was in Cincinnati instead of Jamar. Same thing if Jamar was in Minnesota. Like, I think both of those guys would still be getting their rocks off no matter who's throwing them the ball there. But I think those guys are a lot closer than what it is. Based off last season, I think you have to say that Jamar is better there, but I think Jettas and Jamar is there. If Derrick Henry and Saquon are 3-4, Jettas and Jamar are 5-6 or 2-3, whatever way you want to go with that.
But the thing about Jettas and Jamar, and I love, Mo had a comment this morning that I loved, and I'm stealing it. Mo, this is your comment. I'm stealing it. Jamar has Joe Burrow. Justin Jefferson has Joe Nobody. JJ, Sam, Kirk. I just imagine what Justin Jefferson's numbers would be like with Joe Burrow.
Agreed.
I think that pound for pound, Jettas is better than Jamar. Pound for pound. But we look at situations differently, right?
For sure.
Well, Justin Jefferson's never won a playoff game. He sucks. Never won a playoff game. Oh, it doesn't matter because he's a wide receiver.
That's also very true.
That's not fair, right? Because wide receivers can't change the game if their team stinks around them. And we do this all the time with players. The only thing I didn't like else about it, and I understand why they did it, but I think it was 2-3, 5-6 were the 4 quarterbacks, and Joe Burrow was 6. I disagree. If you're going to rank Pat below Lamar and Josh because of their recent performance, even though Pat went to 3 Super Bowls in a row, won 2 of them, you got to rank them below Joe. Joe is better. Like, what are we doing? Oh, just Josh and Lamar can pass them. They've never beat him, but Joe's beat him in the playoffs. But you can't put Joe out of him? Got it. Just checking.
But I also think the other part is, if you want to just, I guess, to kind of look at it like they haven't beat Pat, well, they beat Joe. So
what?
Like,
Joe's beat them. Oh, Josh has never beat Joe. You're welcome.
They've never played. Have they played? When they played in the playoffs?
Played in the playoffs once in Buffalo, and Joe Burrow destroyed him.
Oh yeah, the 27-year. That was Diggs last year in Buffalo.
Yep.
So he's 0-1 Fair enough.
And they played in the regular season. Joe Burrow beat him.
Well, I don't care about regular season stuff.
I get that. My point being is Lamar beats Joe in the regular season regularly at this point. Beat him 3 times in a row. 3 years ago, Joe would beat Lamar regularly. Beat him twice, threw for 500, 500, 500, and then 480 in the game 3 years ago when they played. Joe made a comment about he always has good games versus the Ravens and hasn't beat them since. I understand the points of one or the other. My only argument is this. If you're going to rank Pat below Josh and Lamar, you are going off of what he did last year. He's not a better quarterback all time. There's no doubt. Like if you're spinning out like who's the greatest quarterback currently playing in the NFL, it's Patrick Mahomes. Right?
Sure.
So if you're going to put Pat behind Lamar and Josh, which I'm fine with, you have to put Joe ahead of Pat. You have to. I'm not saying put Joe ahead of Lamar and Josh. I'm not, because Lamar and Josh won the last 3 MVPs. Not the last 3, but the point, you cannot do that.
Mahomes also has 2 MVPs, though.
It doesn't matter. It's not a lifetime achievement award. You know what else?
I mean,
he went to the Aaron Rodgers. Let's put Aaron Rodgers 3.
Yeah, but that's not Aaron Rodgers' last MVP was what, 6 years ago? Like that's not the same as
Pass was 3 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago. That's much different for a guy who's in his prime, who's coming off of 3 straight super.
Cooper Kupp was the best receiver in football 4 years ago.
And injuries happen. Pat hasn't been injured. Pat has not been injured. Like things change as far as that goes. I'm saying that if you want to have Pat there, I think it's okay because 1, he has the MVPs. 2, the Super Bowl, like the playoff runs that he goes on each year. And then 3, this past year, and wins aren't a QB stat, but let's not act like we don't pay attention to that. Like, let's not act like we don't value them as if they aren't a QB stat. The Bengals didn't make the playoffs last year, and that's not Joe's fault because he was balling every game, but we put wins on quarterbacks all the time. So if that's what some people value, like, I don't think that part of it is crazy. I don't think it's crazy if you had Joe at 5, you had him at 3, if you had him at 2. Like, if that's what you think, I'm perfectly fine if you give me a great argument for any of those guys, because the top 4 are the top 4, no matter how you slice it. I don't think it's crazy that I got Pat 1, Lamar 2, Joe 3, Josh 4.
Fine with it. Because what you're doing is you're ranking them based off of wins, accomplishments, and then stats. And I'm okay with that. You have a criteria. What my point is, there's no criteria in that. If you go Josh, Lamar, is it Lamar, Josh?
It's Lamar, Josh, Pat,
okay.
Joe.
If it's Lamar, Josh, Pat, Joe, there's no criteria. Give me the criteria of that for this year. Give me that criteria. How, like, you could, like, you know that game where you're like, rank them from small to big. You cannot rank them in that area. That's not, I understand Pat being 1, but if you're going to rank Lamar and Josh over him, you have to rank Joe over him. They all have better years than him by a lot. Josh won the MVP, but if you put his stats side by side versus Joe Burrow, it's hilarious. It's funny. Well, Josh won the MVP because he lost Stephon Diggs and still had a really good season. That's why he won the MVP.
You know my thoughts on it. So
Lamar Jackson should have won MVP last year, but 2 years ago he shouldn't have.
I don't disagree with you. We agree there.
The players also voted on this, so take into account Mahomes fatigue and bias. I agree. But then put him 6.
I also,
you know what I mean?
I also think, like, and this isn't, nothing towards Jory, but I also think that the NFL does a great job of, like, marketing how the players vote on this. And if I'm being honest, like, knowing how they do with their NFLPA meetings and, just their normal duties as players, like, this wouldn't surprise me at all if they send this survey out to all these people and 60% of the people just ignore it. Like, they don't fill this stuff out. Like, and so we're like, I part of me feels like this is somewhat incomplete as well. So I'd be very curious, and I know the league would never ever release the information regarding it, but I'd be very curious to see the people that are actually voting on this. Like, of course, it's players, but I'm very curious to see if it's like, are the majority of these guys starters? Are the majority of these guys, defensive linemen? Are they quarterbacks? Like, I'm curious to see how everything shakes out as far as like this voting process, because some of the stuff kind of feels egregious. Like we've kind of gone back and forth throughout the entire list here. Cooper DeJean being one of them there. Jared Goff
Cooper
being as
DeJean
high
being
as he
over
was.
Denzel Ward is a crime. They should arrest someone for that.
But like, if you ask the top 10, 15 receivers, like I don't think any of them would rate Cooper DeJean ahead of Denzel Ward.
None. Zero.
So like that's why I say like I'm curious to know who is actually making these votes here in this ranking.
A nickel cornerback, a rookie on the Eagles who didn't start the first 4 games ranked ahead of Denzel Ward. It's so wild. I have something I want you to do. Start, bench, cut, blind rank edition. Can you do that for me? Blind rank. I'm just going to read stats. Last year's stats. QBA had 3,897 yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions with a 93.5 quarterback rating. Okay. Quarterback B had a 3,928 yards, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and a 93.7 quarterback rating.
Okay.
Quarterback C had a 3,870 yard season, 23 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a 101.7 quarterback rating. Start, bench, cut.
Based on the stats there, I think I'm starting the third guy.
Okay.
Low interceptions. I think the first guy had slightly more yards. They had same touchdown, same interceptions. Correct.
First guy had the same amount of yards, 28 touchdowns versus 26, same amount of interceptions, and their quarterback rating is almost the same.
Yes, I mean you have to take the guy with 2 more touchdowns.
Okay. So quarterback A was Aaron Rodgers, who you benched. Quarterback B was Patrick Mahomes, who you cut. And quarterback C was Justin Herbert, who you started. Start C, bench A, cut B. You started Justin Herbert, you benched Aaron Rodgers, and you cut Patrick Mahomes. So if that's the case, bro, I don't even want to get into it with Sam Darnold. 4,300 yards, 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, a 102 quarterback rating. Geno Smith, 4,320 yards, 21 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Okay, let me leave that one out. Jared Goff, 4,600 yards, 37 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, a 111.8 rating. Oh, and then there's Joe Burrow, who had 4,918 yards, 43 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and a 108.5 quarterback rating. You want to know who led the league in QBR?
Who?
It was Lamar Jackson. You know who was second?
Jaden?
Josh Allen. Third, Joe Burrow. Fourth, Jaden Daniels. Patrick Mahomes was 8th. Just giving my
look, I'm not saying based on last year, like that's why I would have
criteria. That's it. The criteria of why they would be ranked in that order. You can't.
You got 3 teams that made the playoffs. That's the only thing I can think of. 3 teams made the playoffs. 1 team, Pat led his team to a Super Bowl.
So they eliminated the 4th team because they didn't make the playoffs. That makes sense. That's
what my thinking would be like. It was like Lamar, Josh Allen. They went again. This is kind of my mind here. They go. Lamar was first team All Pro. He didn't win the MVP, but he was first team All Pro. Josh Allen was right there with him. He won the MVP. Those are 1-2.
Okay.
Patrick went to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow didn't. That's their ultimate way.
I can at least hear that. That at least makes sense. I feel like I'm vindicated now. All right, let's move on. College football action, right? Now we're at
let's stick NFL. It's week 1. Like let's get the exciting part out the way here.
So let's do our quarterbacks list. Let's give our Super Bowl predictions, and then we'll break down the NFL.
All right. Sounds good to me.
All right. So quarterbacks list 1 through 10.
One way or another, this is about to be wild. So
that's gonna be. Can I go first?
Yeah. I know you want to go first. I already know you want to go first.
I want to go first. Should we flip a coin though, so it's fair?
It's up to you.
Actually, you know what? Do me a favor. Pick a number 1 to 10. Don't say it. Just keep it in your head. I trust you. I have my number 1 to 10.
Okay. Okay.
Do you have it?
I do.
Somebody put a number 1 through 10 in the chat. Somebody put a number 1 through 10.
I'll send it to you in the private chat. I'm gonna go right now.
I believe you. I can send mine to it. It's not. Oh well, that sucks because mine's that. So I'm probably gonna win this.
Oh, good. It's
somebody put a number 1 through 10 in the chat. Come on, guys. I know we're on the delay, so we gotta wait a second. Look at that.
There we go.
I'm gonna hit Kyle Edwards. By the way, my number was 4. So thank you, Kyle.
Mine was 3 for what it's worth. So
I go on.
Okay.
Number 1. Joe Shiesty.
Of course.
Joe Burrow.
No Burrow was coming at 1, so I will take 2
because
here.
It's a projections list, and I've said a million times, if I was starting a franchise tomorrow and I deleted everything, I could build around that quarterback, I would have Joe Burrow 1. So Joe Burrow.
And number 2, I'd have Lamar Jackson.
I love that you did that because I wouldn't argue that. You know my thoughts. I said whoever won between Josh and Lamar last year, I was ranking ahead the other, and then I watched the game, and I'm like, I still can't do it. I have Lamar shade. I literally have them on the same line. I'm like, same line. All right. Number 5, Jalen Hurts.
That's interesting because I was actually going to go Jalen Hurts at number 10.
Were you really?
I was. Because I thought me and you were on the same page of Jalen's going to regress this year.
Delete. I went into my own quarterback list and not my projections. I apologize. Delete. That's my quarterbacks list and not my projections list.
Okay.
I apologize.
Okay.
I'm so used to doing it that way.
That's why I was like, I was kind of surprised you went there, but if this is what we're doing, that's all right. They just changed my mindset a little bit.
I'll go Jalen Hurts number 9, projecting this year.
That is perfectly fine because that's more so where I was expecting him to be.
Projecting this year, guys.
That makes my number 8 absolutely insane, but this is what I'm projecting here. I got Caleb Williams at number 8.
Oh God, I can't believe you just put Caleb Williams on top 10 list. I get it; it's projection, so we can't argue.
Ben Johnson in that offense, like I truly think he's going to look like one of, if not the best guy in the NFC over there.
I told you to buy stock in Justin Herbert. Buy stock in Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert, number 4.
Oof, that means that.
Buy stock in Justin Herbert.
All right.
I like 4 because there's an obvious 3, and it's not obvious 3.
I'll
take the 3 if you don't. I'll take the low hanging fruit if you stay away from it. I
am going to stay away from it. I'm going to go 7, and I'm going to go with CJ Stroud in a bounce back year.
Oh God, this has become a Cottrell. This is what this has become. The show has become Cottrell forcing his agenda on us.
Hey, you go Burrow 1. I gotta make my bones in here where I can.
I'll put Josh Allen at 3.
All right. We know who's at 5.
100%.
The question is who's in 10.
So we're at 5 and 10 is what we're at.
Yep.
Can you do me a favor?
Oh, I got 10 is easy. 10 is easy.
No. Can you put 5 in there? No, go ahead. Do 10.
I'm very curious to know who you would put at 10. So you know what? For argument's sake here, I'll go Patrick Mahomes at 5.
Who is gonna be your 10?
Jayden Daniels.
I'm not putting my 10. I think he has a massive sophomore slump.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna do what I want to do, put like Fields or Lawrence at 10 because I feel like they both have really good bounce back years. You're asking me to project statistically how these quarterbacks are going to play this year. And I want to be a very unbiased representative. I'm going to put Dak Prescott at 10. with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens and the way that offense is going to be behind because they can't run the ball. Statistically speaking, Dak Prescott will be a top 10 quarterback this
year. I definitely can see that there. I mean, they're going to be down a ton of games because that defense is not stopping anybody.
Mo does not agree with you, by the way.
Oh, that's
Caleb
fine.
is going to cost a lot of people a lot of money, and Stroud at 7. Don't go to Vegas.
That's perfectly fine there. I'm sure Mo probably's got Brock Purdy somewhere in his top 10, and
I don't think he does. I think he's very honest about Brock Purdy. He said, "Don't give him $50 million." He said,
15. Oh well, I mean, everybody knows that's a mistake.
I think there's a lot of quarterbacks that have good years this year, and I think when you hear so what we did, do you want to do Super Bowl predictions next?
Yeah, let's do it.
So what me and Cottrell did this year is we have our regular Super Bowl prediction. Like if we had to pick a Super Bowl based on the teams that are in the NFL, and then we have a long shot Super Bowl. Teams that we think definitely can make the Super Bowl that not a lot of people are looking at. Where do you want to start with?
You want to get the regular one out the way first?
Sure. I will do that. I'm going to hope against hope. I'm going to pick the best 2 rosters in football other than the Super Bowl. I think the best 2 rosters in football are the Baltimore Ravens and the Philadelphia Eagles. I think it's Lamar versus Jalen. I think the best 2 teams in football are the Eagles and the Ravens. So I'll go Eagles over Ravens for my regular Super Bowl prediction.
Okay. Those are 2 teams that I believe are going to be in their respective conference championship games. So I would not be.
If the Eagles aren't going to make it to the Super Bowl, have them lose in the goddamn wall. I don't cut my goddamn heart out. Bullshit.
I just think we have a repeat matchup of a matchup that we saw in the playoffs this past year. And I think the other team gets the edge this time. I like the Los Angeles Rams to go to Super Bowl from the NFC side. Okay. But in the AFC, I am rolling with the Baltimore Ravens. I feel like there is at a point that team has to get over the hump. Too talented not to, like you said, one of the most talented teams in football there. And if the Rams don't make it, I 100% had the Eagles being there. But I love the Rams core defensively, like the defensive line with the youth. Them making the move to add Devontae Adams is huge. So I think the Rams are going to be a force to reckon with in the NFC. And then ultimately, I like the Rams to take care of business over the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl. So that would be my big time Super Bowl matchup there. My one long shot, I think it's a long shot anyway, would be the Pittsburgh Steelers going to the Super Bowl.
Oh man.
As much money as they're spending on defense, like you may think defensively, probably not a long shot, but I think as a whole, no one's really picking the Steelers to have a ton of success there. But I think if things go the perfect way for them, that's a team that can go to the Super Bowl. And on the flip side of it, had a team that has the number 8 quarterback according to my list. And that's Caleb Williams. And I got him going up against the Chicago Bears. So my long shot of the Super Bowl would be Chicago Bears versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. The one thing I think people seem to forget with this Bears team, regardless of how that offense looks, Dennis Allen sucked as a head coach, but he is a damn good defensive coordinator. And that Chicago Bears defense will be excellent this year.
See, I wanted you to put a long shot out there. I didn't want you to make a Make-A-Wish Super Bowl. I feel like if a Make-A-Wish kid said that Super Bowl, we'd be like, yeah. It's like the Temu Super Bowl. I don't agree with that, but that's okay. That's why long shots are here.
But I'm guessing, but you don't agree with either one. Neither team has a shot to make the Super Bowl.
I don't have either team in the playoffs.
In the playoffs?
Correct. Here's my long shot Super Bowl. Now, I liked it a lot more a month ago. One team in the San Francisco 49ers, in my opinion, we talked about who they lost this offseason. I think they gained best free agent this offseason. The best free agent this offseason. By the way, I need Shalley's real reaction. The Six Shalley is here.
Six Shalley is here.
He came just for trivia.
Sounds like he's sick.
Control yelled at me about trivia, so I'm here. I got a good question for you too.
We're giving our Super Bowl predictions. By the way, before I give my full one, can you want to give us your regular Super Bowl prediction?
What is the difference between?
So we did a regular
and long shot.
Oh, okay.
Just give your regular.
I hate to be this guy. My regular one, I think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. I think they come out of the NFC again. AFC. I think Josh gets over the hump this year. I think it's Buffalo.
So Eagles, Buffalo. Who wins?
I'll go Eagles. I think Buffalo being the first time there, I think it's a lot.
I went Eagles, Ravens. Eagles win. Control went with some shit team. No, I'm kidding. He went Rams over Bills, right? Rams over Ravens.
Rams over Ravens.
Rams over Ravens.
I like the Rams. I told you that last night. I think the Rams are the best team in that division by far.
My long shot Super Bowl. In the NFC, it's the San Francisco 49ers. And I think what they lost in players, they gained in scheme. And I remember a line from a coach that I don't like. But I remember a line from a coach I don't like. He said, schemes beat teams. And the San Francisco 49ers got, in my opinion, the most valuable commodity this offseason in getting Robert Sullivan. They have the easiest schedule in the NFL. And I think you have Kyle Shanahan. I got the 49ers. Give me the 49ers in the AFC, in the NFC. In the AFC, I cannot wait to watch this football game because I think it's going to happen. In one corner, you have John Harbaugh, the Ravens' elite team. In the other corner, you have the winner of the Harbaugh family, Jim Harbaugh, and the Chargers. Amari Hampton, Justin Herbert, the return of Keenan Allen, Ladd McConkey. My pick to win the AFC, the Chargers. And you get Jim versus his old team. This is the sales point of the year. Chargers, Niners, Super Bowl. Give me Jim Harbaugh to beat his old team and the Chargers to beat the 49ers as my long shot Super Bowl.
This is cinema.
Kyle, that's hilarious, by the way.
What?
He said, going with Cottrell's wild long shots theme, I will go with Browns over the Falcons.
Tony did regular. He's got Bills Lions. I don't think here's a bold prediction. I don't think the Lions make the playoffs this year.
I also don't think the Lions make the playoffs this year.
That division is going to be very good this year. It might be the best division in football.
Bill, to that point, you missed my long shot. I said my long shot of a Super Bowl would be the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Chicago Bears.
I mean, listen. I'll say this. I have no faith in Aaron Rodgers in the Pittsburgh side of things. However, if Caleb takes that next progressive step that he's supposed to take, that team on paper is very good. So, we'll see if they can coach him up and, offensively, they have as good as weapons as anybody.
Do the Packers count as a long shot, by the way?
Yes.
I was literally looking at Super Bowl odds like right now. And the Packers are
best odds in the NFC.
They got the third best odds in the NFC behind the Eagles and Lions.
Who does?
The Packers.
The Packers.
I don't think the Packers counts long shot. It's 8 o'clock, though. 8 o'clock on the dot. Chally's trivia on the clock. Gene versus Cottrell. Sick Chally has come through. We've been waiting for this trivia for 13 days. And he's got a good one. So, sorry, gentlemen. By the way, I didn't see that Angel Reese went scorched earth on the sky, even publicly called out teammates by name. I didn't see that. I would love to see that. Send me the article.
Is that real?
Apparently. I don't know. That's Brett. Brett doesn't really post things that aren't. Chargers Bucks would be a long shot. I'll take that.
I was going to go the same. I was going to go the same division. I wasn't going to say the Chargers. I was going to say the Broncos.
Broncos country. Let's cry. By the way, do you want to know why I think the Broncos are in for a worse season than a lot of people expect?
No.
Do you know? I want to ask you a question, Charlie.
Go ahead.
How many current quarterbacks do you think the Broncos beat last year? Like teams that currently have a starting quarterback in the NFL. How many did they beat last year?
I mean, they all have a starting quarterback. Do you mean
I know.
Like a starter projector week 1?
Correct. They still have a starting quarterback.
I mean, I feel like the number's low. That's why you're asking.
I just want to.
I'll say 6.
6? Okay. How many starting NFL quarterbacks this year did the Broncos beat last year?
It's funny you say that because I'm like going through a lot of their wins in my head, and a lot of the guys like aren't there. So I'm gonna go low. I'm gonna go 3.
It's 2.
Jeez.
Aaron Rodgers and Baker Mayfield.
So it's really 1.
Yeah, because I remember like they played the Bills, and I'm pretty sure they beat the Bills, but like Josh didn't play, or it was like late in the season or something like that. I know they played the Browns and beat whoever was that quarterback.
Chiefs without Pat.
Chiefs without Pat. Yep. The Ravens. The Raiders. They beat Aiden, who's not starting.
Correct. It's 2. It's Aaron Rodgers and Baker Mayfield. But all right, trivia question. That's why I think the Broncos aren't as good as people think they are. I would fade the Broncos defense. FYI, just giving you that. All right, I got to turn the comments off. Gentlemen, I appreciate the comments. I will see you in hopefully 10 minutes. We'll see. We'll see how long this trivia question lasts. So I got a really good one for you. By the way, Aaron Nola stinks. I was just closing out my ESPN tab, and the Phillies are down 5-0.
All right. So, in light of the NFL starting tomorrow night and kicking off,
woo,
we are going to go with the top 10 most passing yards in week 1 in the history of the NFL.
Wow.
Now, before everybody gets scared, there's one guy on here that's really old, and everybody else is a household name. And I mean a household name.
No, I get that, but I think that the tough part is remembering week 1 performances. Cottrell, if you remember more week 1 performances than me, you're going to win this one easily because I don't remember many. I'll tell you one I do remember. He should be on the list. I get to go first, right? I'm the defending reigning. I remember Peyton Manning's first game with the Denver Broncos. He should be on there.
Peyton Manning, number 5. Indeed. Denver versus Baltimore. 462 yards.
462. I got one that's kind of in my back pocket. I'm gonna save that for later. Over the course of 30 years, I'd imagine that Tom Brady has had to go crazy week 1 at some point. So I'm gonna go with Tom Brady.
Tom Brady is number 2 in 2011. Went for 517 yards.
That's ridiculous.
Okay. I guess I could stay on that theme. That's a theme guys played a lot of seasons through for a lot of yards. Let me go Drew Brees.
Drew Brees is number 9 at 439 yards.
Okay. All right. And again, we're sticking with the theme of guys that played a really long time. We'll go with Aaron Rodgers.
That's a good one.
Aaron Rodgers is not on the list.
Oh, I get a chance to get a leg up.
And I know my next one too.
I think that this guy had a ridiculous week one. And he's not even a passing quarterback like that. But I think he had a 59-point week one. I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson.
God damn it, against the Dolphins. That's the one I was trying to keep in my back pocket.
Lamar is not on the list.
I know exactly what game you're talking about. One Dolphins had like it was like 49-10 or something ridiculous.
I think it was 59.
Yeah. Interesting though.
Okay.
I know this team starts off against the Browns pretty often. Week one. I feel like there's one performance in general that comes to mind here. I'm gonna roll with Ben Roethlisberger.
Big Bathroom Ben is not on the list.
Okay. I remember the first game of the season. We all didn't know a guy named Kurt. Give me Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner checks in at number 8 with 441 yards.
Okay.
3-1.
Is it 3-1 or is it 4-2?
I think it
might be 4-2. I think I'm up 2.
1, 2.
No, I had Tom.
3.
Aaron
no, it's 3-1. It's 3-1.
Yeah, Aaron wasn't on the list. All right. Big time.
I can't believe Lamar wasn't on there.
Big time arms.
I have another one, I think.
I'll go with one. I think probably 2022, maybe 21. I'll go with Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes is not on the list.
1997, week 1, Dan Marino.
Dan Marino is number 3 with 473 yards. It was 1994, though.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm old. I forgot. But
all right. Gunslingers. If Aaron didn't do it, I feel like Brett Favre had to do it.
I wanted Brett.
Brett is not on the list.
Okay. I think that there was a year in which this quarterback came out and he broke the record for most passing yards in week 1 by a rookie. So I think it enters on the list. I think it's Mr. Cameron Newton.
Cam Newton is not on the list.
Okay.
I don't remember. You would remember better than me, and you didn't say it. So, curious to know. Guy who had to play behind a ton. He was thrown to the best receiver in the game for a really long time. I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford is not on the list.
Well, you just kind of gave me a hint by the way you looked. I think that the guy that played behind a great quarterback that was throwing to the best receiver ever, I'm just cheating on this one. Is it Steve Young?
Steve Young is not on the list.
Okay. Just he gave kind of like a year like I was best receiver of all time. I don't know. Just I just cheated on that. That was an absolute cheat, baby. I tried beating Shally's face. I deserve a loss there.
All right.
I think I have one.
Let's see.
I think I have one.
I'm going to go with Michael Vick.
Not on the list.
2004, this quarterback got first time had a number 1 wide receiver. I think he threw him 3 touchdowns on opening day. Give me number 5 will always love you. Donovan McNabb.
Not on the list.
Damn it. I gotta stop giving stories for wrong answers. Is that fair? Like I'm giving just stories here.
A lot of color.
All commentary.
I feel like we've got no, he had Zeke next to him for a long time. Let's roll with You want the Steve Young route? I'll go the guy before that. Maybe they had one year where they had it going from the jump. I'll go with Joe Montana.
Not on the list.
All right. When do we do hints? I feel like we've gotten like 4 in a row.
Let's go one more round and then go hint.
Okay. I will go with the quarterback that guy that slung the ball over the yard. Was always in a lot of shootout games because you know what? No, screw that. Nah. Carson Palmer.
Not on the list.
Jim Kelly.
Not on the list.
All right,
end time.
It's 4-1, right?
Yep.
5 people left. Got it.
First guy did it in 1951. He is number 1 on the list.
That's great.
Got him. Number 4 did it in 2023.
Oh, wow.
Number 5 we got. Number 6 and 8 are the same player. 2014 and 2020.
Do you get 2 if you get them?
No, I mean I just went down to 11 on the list to make it.
Okay. What were the 10. 2 that he did it?
2014 and 2020. The guy in between did it in 2013. Kurt Warner we got. And then last guy is 2021.
Phillip Rivers.
Is that your guess?
Yes.
He's number 10.
He's the one who did it in what? 20 what?
He's 2021.
So I guessed him because I thought he did it 2014 and 2020.
Very clear. It's funny that you
that's the guy that I thought Cottrell was going to say earlier.
Oh, come on.
It's not a hint.
Sounds like it.
It's not. You try to use my facial expressions.
I did.
Funny enough, the 2021 one, I was actually going to go to Deshaun Watson because I remember the game that he had played in Houston against the Saints. I couldn't remember if that was week 1 or not, but I remember he threw for a ton of yards in that game. Okay. 2023.
You need one. Gene gets one more. It's a wrap. I don't think either one of you get a number 1. So
just 2 years ago, I will go with Dak Prescott.
Not on the list.
Okay. So I'm just trying to get the 2014, 2020 guy. I feel like that's the guy that he did it multiple times. 2014, 2020. 2014, 2020.
Oh, I know who it is.
God damn it. I feel like he does. Now I got to get it.
Yep.
What were the years again for the other ones? I'm sorry. There's 4 left.
You have 2020, 2014 for the one guy. The other guy is 2013. The other guy's 2021.
Okay.
And the other guy is 2018.
Okay, so they're all recent. Matt Ryan.
That's the name who I was thinking.
Matt Ryan was 2014 and 2020.
Yep.
448 yards and 450. So he was saying before, he's like, had like maybe the best receiver in the game, and he said Matt, and I was like, he's gonna get it. He said Matt Stafford. I was like, fuck.
Oh, that makes sense.
Blowout,
baby. Flex on him.
Number 1.
Sammy Ball.
This is wild when I saw it. Norm Van Brocklin, 554 yards. Yep. That's when he was with the Rams, though.
That's fair.
Brady was 2, Marino was 3, Tua was 4.
Tua. That makes sense. The year was 2023.
Yep, 2023 was 2. That's 466 yards. Peyton was 5. Matt was 6 and 8. Eli is number 7, 450 yards. Kurt Warner was 8. Sorry, Drew Brees 9. 8. Sorry, Phillip Rivers, and then Derek Carr, 2021.
I wouldn't have got
435 yards. First guy off was Cam Newton.
Was that the year? Man,
what year did you say?
Well, it was his rookie year.
That's 2011, then yeah.
Yes. Broke the record for most passing yards in a rookie by a rookie in opening week 1.
Drew Bledsoe.
So much so Tom could run.
Drew Brees again. Andy Dalton. Ryan Fitzpatrick. Chad Henne.
I wonder where Lamar was.
Lamar's not in the top 25. Kaepernick's 23. Phil Simms is 24. And Dak with 405 is 25.
All right. Well, the chat had Dante Culpepper.
Oh, that's a good one. The year with Randy, Chris.
All right, gentlemen. We're still in the NFL. Week 1, we can't really preview games. There's not really we can preview opening night. That's what we can do. Is there any other games you want to preview week 1? Well, I'm serious. I feel like that. We don't know. Is there any other games we could preview? I guess we could preview Chiefs, Chargers.
I mean, if we're being honest, obviously rivalry, know it's your team. Is there really much to preview in this game?
Eagles, Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, is there really much to preview?
Here's something to preview. Listen, tickets as low as my favorite thing in the whole world. What do you think is the most expensive ticket in the house?
Cowboys, Eagles.
That's right, $319.
Absolutely.
And here's the fun one, right? Who's the cheapest ticket in the house? You can see this game for as low as $47. I'm not sorry, even lower. You can see this game for as low as $30.
Is Carolina home?
Carolina's not home. They're playing
Broncos, Titans.
Broncos, Titans it's in Denver, so the answer is no.
Yeah, hell no.
Denver spends.
Indy, Miami at Indy.
No. Indy's 62. They're low.
Indy, those fans love their team.
The thing is, I would normally guess the Browns, but their season openers are never cheap.
$100.
Yep.
$30. Arizona Cardinals at the New Orleans Saints. Head to the Superdome for $30. All right. Just quickly, because we really have to get in college football and kind of going to move. Eagles, Cowboys. Thursday night. Opening night of the NFL. I want to be very clear when I say this. Dak Prescott career record 9-4 versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Them getting a run stopper in Kenny Clark is an issue for Philadelphia. The Eagles having a new offensive coordinator is definitely an issue. The fact that we are starting a journeyman in Adoree Jackson as cornerback 2 versus George Pickens is an issue. I still think Philadelphia wins the game. I would never bet on them to cover. I think that you're a fool if you think they're going to cover this game. I have a 23-19 Philadelphia in a low-scoring, hold-your-breath matchup in which Dak Prescott either throws a pick or gets sacked in the game. And
what's the spread at now?
7.5.
The ghost just opened up the cabinet.
I saw that.
Amazing. I'm going Eagles 23, Cowboys 19. Cowboys cover.
Bill, who you got?
I have the Eagles. Again, I think there might be some kind of growing pains, like Gene said, with the new OC. A little bit of defense kind of, getting used to each other and gelling in a game-like atmosphere. Against, a team that's going to come in with 2 really good wide receivers. So, but that being said, I think, that Dallas line is nowhere near what it used to be. The running game is not going to be there. I think the Eagles are going to get a lot of pressure on Dak all night for some early throws. I think I'll throw at least 1 pick. I think that defense will get holds when they need to. Kenny Clark's a good player. I think Saquon is just operating on a different planet right now. I'll take our line and Saquon and Jalen and the receivers and all those guys. So I like the Eagles 27, Dallas 16.
Well, I said this morning in the comments on Coffee and Sports, I'm right there with Bill, basically. I like the Eagles 27-17. I don't think this game is ever particularly close. 10 points isn't a blowout by any means, but I don't think Philly is ever in any true danger to lose this football game. The Eagles defense is still stout. I mean, you're not really replacing a ton. CB2, sure, like you have a guy in Adoree there, but you still have safeties up top. You still have Cooper in the slot. Like I think as a whole, Philly's offensive line will be able to get after the Cowboys' inexperienced offense. Philly's defensive line will be able to get after the Cowboys' inexperienced offensive line, make Dak's life hard. And I think when you know that Dallas has no running game, you're able to pin your ears back and get after the quarterback. And CD's great. George Pickens is a really good receiver too. Dak doesn't have time to see, those guys get open, then it's going to make life hard. So I like the Eagles, rather comfy. I don't think you're ever stressing about this one.
Okay. As far as the other games, I'm picking the other two primetime games, the Chargers, Chiefs, and the Ravens, Bills. Do you guys want to give any prediction on them? I'm picking them.
I said last year when we wrapped up the season, I said one of my bold predictions was I don't think the Chiefs win the division this year, and I don't think they do. I think it's going to be Denver or the Chargers. That Chargers team is starting to look how Harbaugh wants that Chargers team to look. I think getting Keenan Allen back as the possession guy to take a little bit of stress off Herbert and even off of Ladd McConkey, I think is a bigger move than I think some people are making, as long as he can stay healthy, which is always the thing with him. I think that defense is going to play great. I think Kansas City's in for a long season. I do. So I think the Chargers win that game. And where is Baltimore or Buffalo? I haven't looked at any of this
Buffalo.
Then I like Buffalo.
So I like
I said, I think sorry, no, that's cool. I'm starting to lose my voice anyway. I think this is the Bills' year where they get over the hump. Not saying they win the Super Bowl, but I think they get there. I think with what they've added, and I think Josh kind of really seeing how he needs to play after having a great year last year. I think Bills country, finally gets go over the hump. Bills Mafia.
So I like the Chargers to win. I do think they're going to come out, and especially with Amari Hampton, give them a different dynamic offensively and able to run the ball and have a ton of success there. Make Herbert's life, easier. And, you mentioned having Keenan Allen as the possession guy. Keenan Allen is most effective weeks 1 through 6. Before that, injury starts to creep in and, you have doubts and his name comes up on the injury report. So I think week 1 is the perfect space for him to have success there. But then as far as the other game, I actually like the Baltimore Ravens over the Bills. I think the Ravens come in with the mindset that this is their Super Bowl. I think the loss against the Bills is still stewing from January last year. And, I think they're going to do whatever it takes to win that football game. And although it was just the trip to the next round of the playoffs, I think it was one that they feel like they let get away. And I think they're going to play with their heads on fire and make sure they do whatever it takes to win that football game.
Okay, let's get into NFL Pick'em.
I haven't looked at games yet.
You don't have to. You're fine. We could just me and Kachuk can do it. You can post them on the page, brother. Don't rush yourself.
Gene, you want me to go first? You going first? What we doing?
Yes, please.
All right. So first game. I promise you it's not a homer pick. I promise you it's not. But I absolutely love the Browns plus 5.5 at home versus the Cincinnati Bengals. If you don't pay attention, the Bengals and Browns always have these tough games, and that Joe Burrow is going to struggle against the Browns defense. And again, it's week 1. The Bengals are notorious for starting off slow. I love them in that game, and don't be surprised if the Browns win that game. Not indicative of their season at all. I promise you that. But do not be surprised the Browns actually win that game at home week 1.
Is your defense completely healthy?
Yes.
Like across the board, Denzel's, corners, everybody. Okay.
Second game. I looked at this line and I couldn't believe it. I double taked, I triple taked. I feel like this is the easiest one on the board. Miami plus 1.5 at Indy. I get it. You know, Jonathan Taylor is great with the Colts, and people are hoping that Tyler Warren is special on offense and makes Daniel Jones' job a ton easier. But week one, it's not cold. It's not going to be cold in Indy. Like they play in a dome. I don't care about Tyreek's injury. I don't care about Achan's injury. Miami Dolphins are going to win that football game. I just think as a whole, their offense, the way that their offense looks, and is going to look against Indy, I trust the ghost and the lack of hamstring Tyreek Hill and injury-ridden Devon Achane a ton more than I trust Daniel Jones starting that quarterback for a team. In the last game I'm going over under with this one. I like the under 42.5 Titans at Broncos. I think with the Broncos defense, they're going to have Cam Ward struggling a bit in his first game out there. He's going to be confused what he sees. And then I think on the flip side, to one of the points that Gene mentioned earlier, I think that Broncos offense doesn't necessarily look quite as good, as they did last year. I do think that they were a little bit of an overrated team there. So I think the Broncos start off a little bit slow there. I think that's a lower scoring game. Broncos are in full control, but I see the under 42.5 hitting in that one.
I would say this: if Achane and Tyreek don't play, I wouldn't even touch that game. Well, but I don't think if they do play, then I love your pick.
All right, here's my 3. I'm going with the 1-2-3 mentality. I'm like the 1-2-3 kid. Give me the Ravens plus 1.5 over the Buffalo Bills. I watched that game last year, and everything happened, and it landed in the Buffalo Bills' lap. Mark Andrews dropped the ball in the end zone for a 2-point conversion. Mark Andrews just fumbled the ball for no friggin' reason, running across the middle of the field. Lamar Jackson dropped the ball, fumbled the ball there. They had 3 turnovers, and when Baltimore decided to run the ball down Buffalo's throat, they couldn't stop them. Derrick Henry would just absolutely destroy that line. I think Baltimore's coming into Buffalo for sweet revenge. I love the Ravens. Week 1, they are a nightmare. John Harbaugh always has his teams prepared week 1. I wish he had them prepared for the playoffs, but he always has them prepared for week 1. Give me the Ravens plus 1.5.
Was that the game too with like the other tight end shoe being like an inch out of bounds at the end?
No, that was week 1 last year.
Right.
Second on the agenda, I like the New York Football Jets to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like them plus 2.5. It reminds me so much of week 1 2 years ago when the Jets lost Aaron Rodgers 3 plays into the game. It's in MetLife Stadium, and you have the Jets just fighting and willing their way to victory. I'll tell you this. Justin Fields was done dirty by the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers did the Jets dirty. And if you don't believe Aaron Glenn is preaching that in the locker room, I don't know what to tell you. Give me the Jets plus 2.5 over the Steelers in New York. And number 3, this is no surprise. I like the San Diego, now Los Angeles, Superchargers plus 3.5 over the Kansas City Chiefs. You're going to give me 3 and a hook in a game I think they're going to win outright? I'll take the Chargers plus 3.5. Sprinkle it on the money line. Chargers country. Let's ride.
One thing that worries me there is if that game is tight like that, tinfoil hat in me tells me that there's going to be a call that just falls the Chiefs' way. And
there's a flag on the field.
You still can 3.5. Like I think you're fine with 3.5 there, but as far as that money line goes, like if it's that close, like something just tells me it's going to be something a little fishy.
They're not going to let the Swifties lose opening night. Not going to happen.
I think that there are going to be so many calls against the Chiefs this year to prove that they weren't for them. I think they're going to get all the calls against them this year. I think you're going to hear it all year. I think the Chiefs start the season like 1-3. I'm telling you, you watch. Don't be surprised if they lose week 3 in MetLife. versus the Giants.
Ooh. Oh, I'd be stunned.
Don't be. That front four, that front five is going to have a field day versus
Giants line. Yeah. Giants line is no joke.
We got to move to college football, gentlemen.
I'm going to do this with you boys, and I'm going to hop off.
What?
So I'm going to do this with you boys, and I'm going to hop off.
You're going to do what?
This segment.
College football.
Oh. I'll say this. Last week, me and Control previewed 3 ranked versus ranked games. I got all 3 of them wrong. I had Clemson, Notre Dame, and Texas. Now, Control got 2 of the 3 wrong. Let's be clear. But I got all 3 of them wrong. I'm not getting this week's ranked versus ranked game wrong. There's only one of them.
Actually, I get 2 wrong, too.
There's only one of them. Ranked versus ranked this week. You got, is it Oklahoma versus Michigan?
Yes, that is your ranked game.
Number 15, Michigan at number 18, Oklahoma. I am not picking this on the money line. I'm not picking this on the spread, but Oklahoma will not lose this football game. Oklahoma wins. I don't know if it's I think it's close. Michigan always plays funny around the spread. They're a bunch of cheaters up there in Ann Arbor. I'll go 24-20 Oklahoma.
I'll go last. Go
ahead. All right, so this is a game I've been going back and forth on. I love the way Oklahoma looked in their week 1 performance offensively. And I do think defensively, Venables will have something in store for Bryce Underwood and, just having him more uneasy than he was in week 1. Now, with that said, I just don't know if Oklahoma actually has the horses defensively to execute what they would need to against that Michigan bunch there. I think this is I don't want to say necessarily high scoring game, but I think this is a game that, is going to be worth the cost of admission there. I like Michigan, and I hate to say it, but I like Michigan in a tight game, 27-26. Bryce Young leads a drive, and, Michigan scores a, touchdown with less than a minute left and ultimately gets the win.
Bryce Young doesn't play for Michigan.
I said Bryce Underwood.
You said Young. We can roll it back. You said Young.
Almost positive said Underwood.
I'm gonna roll it back
for sure.
I think Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma looked good last week. I think they looked good against the team they're supposed to look good against. I think Michigan's defense overall is way ahead and way better than Oklahoma's offense is at this point. Everybody's in love with John Mateer. He's a good quarterback. If you look at his numbers from last year, threw 29 touchdown passes, 25 of them came against the 4 worst defenses he played, 4 best defenses he played last year. He threw 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. This will be the best defense he's ever played against. I think Michigan's still going to be able to keep it simple offensively. They're not going to put too much on Underwood, even though he played. I think he played really well last week. Showed a lot of poise and kind of a better understanding of the game than I thought a lot of people thought he was going to. They get Hogan Hansen back this week. They'll have the 2 top tight ends. Rumor is Ron Moore is going to start at the back at safety. He's going to come off the injured list as well. And they're going to play their best defense. They went 2 or 3 deep at a lot of positions last week. You're not going to see that this week. Justice Hayes and Jordan Marshall are going to do their thing. Justice Hayes had a huge game last week, 3 touchdowns, 160 yards. I think it boils down to that. I think Michigan's going to be able to run the ball when they have to. And I think Underwood will make enough plays when, kind of off tendency. And I like Michigan 27, Oklahoma 21.
All right. So before we get into our picks, I want to recap what happened last week. I want to put this out here. Tommy Castellanos deserves some respect because he went out there and talked the talk. And when none of us thought he was going to walk the walk.
I like that.
And Florida State smacked Kalen DeBoer and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Is Alabama's allure wearing off with Caleb DeBoer?
I mean, without a doubt. Alabama, especially after that game, and you kind of saw it with the bowl game last year as well. How it's not that Michigan beat them, it's how they beat them. Where you knew all of their top guys weren't playing. They played all their top guys. Like Milroe was going to the draft, but he still played. They had Ryan Williams playing. Like they weren't missing guys. And Michigan just went up there and said, we're going to be a better football team than you and, beat you on the field. And then this week it was like, Castellanos talked all that stuff. And I'm sure DeBoer, if he was a good coach, had it on the bulletin boards in the locker room and it would have been everywhere. And they were talking about it. And he went out there and cashed the check that he wrote. So I think the allure is gone. Like, I don't think anyone is looking at Bama as like they're this big bad wolf that's unbeatable or anything like that. And that's why you keep seeing these teams who are, underdogs that are supposed to beat them. I think I saw a stat that said in Nick Saban's entire tenure at Bama, he lost to unranked teams 4 times. Well, in just one season and one game, Kalen DeBoer has lost to unranked teams 4 times. And so I think, these smaller schools, they're like, Bama isn't the Wicked Witch of the South anymore, essentially. They're a team that can be beat, and we got the guys that can hang with them. And if you're a coach with a ton of confidence, like Mike Norvell apparently is, you think that you can outcoach them, and that's what teams have been going out there to do. So I think the allure is not, is it wearing off? I think it's gone, and the question is, how long does it take for DeBoer to get it back, if he ever gets it back?
So I agree with everything both of you said, and I think going into Florida State losing, I know it counts as an unranked loss, but that being said, it's a tough place to go play. But a lot of people, after he made that statement, a lot of people said, ex-players that had played against them, even ex-Alabama players that played for him, they were like, he had this aura about him. It was like Alabama. They said, can't remember who said it, but it was like Alabama always had an extra player. And that's how they looked at Nick Saban. They were like, if a game was tight, he was up some referee's ass and you knew the call was coming. Or if we were beating him at halftime, like the guys were like, we would watch him just demolish and demoralize his guys going into halftime. He's like, and we knew coming out of halftime they were going to be a different team, and they always were. That's GOAT stuff. That's GOAT status, and that's what he is. And it's it's like you both said, like nobody's going into Alabama right now, especially on this cycle with the way their team is and kind of what they've lost in the portal the last 2 years. Nobody's scared to play them right now.
Nope.
And that is, I don't want to say it's a problem, but you got to start beating people to make that go away. And it doesn't go away until you start beating people. And the longer it grows, then it's, it's like the whole Mike Tyson thing. People were scared to death to get in the ring with that guy. Wanted no parts of it. And then Buster Douglas happened, and then everybody was like, "Oh, I'll fight Mike." And it's once you lose that aura, sometimes it's impossible to get back. And I will tell you this: with the stuff coming out about his contract, I don't know. Alabama's in a tough spot, so they better hope they got it right, because $60 million to buy him out is insane. So, I mean, I don't know, but like you said, you got to tip your hat to Nick and Florida State. They look like a team that we thought they were going to look like last year, for being honest. That's what we thought we were getting last year with DJU and everybody else. But it's again, it's good. We talked about on this show and on Coast to Coast that we thought the ACC was going to be a lot better this year. So that's just, more proof in the pudding right there.
So moving on to ranked versus ranked games that we talked about last week. I kind of want to. I thought the comments were very interesting in the press conference with Dabo Swinney and Brian Kelly. If Brian Kelly could be any more unlikable, I feel like he's just the most unlikable human being on the face of the earth.
Without a doubt.
Dabo Swinney is like, no, didn't play well, but LSU played better than us. It was the first week of the game, first week of the season, when we had a big test. Brian was like, I don't know who watched the second half because we kicked their ass. I'm like, Jesus Christ. He was just saying both teams didn't play up to their highest potential. And like, I just unlikable guy.
Especially
LSU won a football game, and he's not wrong when he said LSU did kick the shit out of Clemson in the second half of that game. Like, the score wasn't indicative to the way LSU handled them in the second half, in my opinion.
See, I disagree with that. Only reason being is Clemson had a chance to go and tie that ball game. So, like, yeah, they were moving the ball down the field, and granted, there was the controversial incompletion that ultimately got called that I thought was a touchdown. Like, I'll give them that, but to me, regardless of how many yards we're getting, LSU was gaining, and the success that they were having defensively, if you have a chance to tie the ball game in the second half there, then I feel like you're still in the football game. So, like, yeah, all the extra yards are nice, the defensive prowess was nice, but K goes down, and it's an if game. Obviously, it didn't happen, but K goes down, and regardless of how everything looked in that game, we're talking about a game going to overtime, and anything can ultimately happen there. So I think LSU looked like the better football team there, and I do think that they played a lot better than what Clemson did in the second half there, but I wouldn't say they kicked their ass because there wasn't much to show for it on the scoreboard.
Yeah, but they shut them out in the second half. They beat them 14-0 in the second half. They were down 10-3 at the half, and not only did they beat them by 14 points in the second half, they probably should have beat them by 21 points in the second half because the touchdown didn't get called. The point I'm trying to make is it really looked like LSU was the much better football team than Clemson, who's got national championship hopes.
Well, I mean, I think LSU does as well, though. So that's.
I'm sure they have hopes.
Inevitably, until Brian Kelly messes it up. But, yeah, I mean, listen, these are the week one games where we get really excited for it, but at the same time, we're going to talk about the next game next, but it's hard to really know how your team's going to react and do things until you see them on the field. And you can't forget, college football doesn't have preseason, so there's no there's no scrimmages, there's no any of that. It's practice. All right, we're going to play against a team that's ranked 9th in the country. And it's always very interesting to see how these games play out and then where the teams are 2 months from now. And we'll see. I still think Clemson's a very, very good football team. And I think LSU might be a little bit better or a little bit further ahead than some people thought they were. But that being said, there's no hiding how much I hate preseason rankings. So it's, these numbers right now in the end all be all, normally they don't mean shit. So we'll see where everybody is in 2 months.
Quickly, I just wanted to give Carson Beck some credit also. I think the U looked a lot better than I thought they would. And Carson Beck looked a lot better than I thought he would. Now, to be fair, Malachi Toney making a ridiculous catch. That was insane. That kind of helps it. But I really was impressed by Carson Beck. I didn't think he would look this good in that system. A lot of people talked about how Cam Ward came out of that system last year and Carson Beck's walking in that system, how quarterback friendly it is. I didn't believe it. He played very well, very good football. I think the U has a really good opportunity to make some noise this year.
I think he played well. I agree. I thought CJ Carr played well for his first start, pretty much as a true freshman. I'll say the same thing I did last year. I don't understand the lack of touches for Jeremiah. But
oh my God, don't get me started.
10 carries.
It's unforgivable. You undoubtedly have the best running back in the country on your team, and you let him touch the ball 10 times. It's unforgivable to me. But that being said, if you're a Notre Dame fan, again, going on the road and playing a tough Miami team and losing by 3, and again, I think the big question mark around Notre Dame was what CJ Carr was going to look like, and I thought he played well. So Marcus Freeman's got to figure it the hell out, though. Got to figure it out, bro. Your best player cannot touch the ball 10 times a game. It can't happen. So, I think all these teams, again, I don't think we've talked about a team yet that's not going to be there at the end. And I'm not saying Final Four or championship game, but I think they're all going to be there in the playoffs. So, we'll see how it goes down the stretch.
I don't know if it's just I have nothing against Notre Dame for what it's worth, but I don't know. There was something about that game, though, that felt like, to me, like it was the highest scoring game of all the ranked versus ranked matchups. But there was something about that game that did not feel like the other ones did. Like, again, the Clemson LSU game, like that felt like, all right, these are two teams who can potentially win a national championship this year. The Ohio State Texas game felt like two teams that can win a national championship this year. The Notre Dame and Miami game felt more like, all right, these are two. Yeah, these two teams might make the college football playoff. Like, if they face off against each other, one of them have to win, but like they also could be in the best bowl game that's not a part of the CFP. Like it kind of felt like that to me. And it could have been the vibe and the lack of aura at the Hard Rock. Could be an NFL stadium there, but like, to me, the game just felt a little weird there, and I still have my question marks, and I think we will know more about both of those teams here very soon because A&M is going to face Notre Dame here, so we'll have an idea of what Notre Dame is with another tough test, and you also have Miami facing off against the South Florida team, coming up here soon, who just beat number 25 Boise, which, again, I'm with Bill. Preseason rankings don't mean anything, but if they play like that and they're able to get after the passer and they have a dynamic quarterback, like, what does that game look like? So very curious to see what these couple teams look like within the next couple of weeks here.
I'll say this: Mario Cristobal reminds me of Coach Prime when he's coaching when the game is on the line. Terrible coaching down the stretch, and they had a very, very lucky, a very fortunate situation that they got out of there with the win because they were beating the shit out of Notre Dame. And all of a sudden they were just like, well, we're just going to play Miami football and just let them back in the game.
That's the Mario special.
Yeah. Mario Cristobal is, I don't trust him in the game on the line.
All right, gents.
All right. So we're doing pick 'em. Do you have pick 'em or do you want to post those two?
I'll post everything tomorrow.
So we're not recapping 1 versus 3. Is that we're just leaving that game?
Sorry.
I was leaving it. I'm kidding. The last thing I'll say on this is this. Control, I'll give you all the credit in the world because you called this. The overhype of Arch before and the over criticism of him after is so ridiculous.
Facts.
Arch Manning is going to be fine. He will be fine. He played at the team that won the national championship in his first start as the starter of Texas. Like, chill out. The fourth quarter, he looked pretty good. If I'm being completely honest with you, he looked good in the fourth quarter.
He looked better. Ohio State started doing different.
The only thing I didn't like. The underthrown corner routes, the only thing I didn't like. But Ohio State's defense looked great. They were flying around the ball.
They were in that
victory lap.
It's not for me. It's not, I wouldn't even call like necessarily a victory lap there, but was expecting this game to look like this. I think people forgot that Texas was going to have a phenomenal defense this year, going to be top 5, and I also thought Ohio State would as well. I get it. There was an unknown with Matt Patricia being there, but I'm telling you, talent-wise, like I saw what a lot of those guys looked like last year because they had significant playing time. So I'm 100% with you, though. Like, I don't think this is going to be indicative of who Arch is or anything like that. I said last week I had the score being 17-13, and it ultimately ended up being even lower than that. Yeah. I think as well, on the flip side, you got Julian saying who this was his first start as well, and the numbers weren't dazzling, but I think both quarterbacks kind of showed you like glimpses of what they could potentially be. So I wouldn't be too worried, and I mentioned it last week as well. I said this may not be indicative of how the season looks. So Texas only scored 7 points against Ohio State. If these two teams match up again later in the season, I can definitely see it being a higher scoring game. I think it's just a feel out, and you could tell that Sark and Ryan Day were very weary of what they were going to let their quarterbacks do in the first start of the season. You could tell that Texas had the training wheels on Arch, and you could tell that Ohio State had the training wheels on Julian. And you had a couple big-time drops from Jeremiah that were uncharacteristic, and Max Clare dropped a couple there as well. And Arch was throwing a couple balls in the dirt that 9 times out of 10 he would never do. So I think everybody in this game is going to be 100% fine. The overreaction is hysterical. But, I think this is a good sign, I think, for both teams, because defensively, that's what you want.
Can I ask you a question, Cottrell? Because you know a lot more about these guys than I do. And Shao, you can kind of give me your take there. Was Arvell Reese like a huge recruit for you guys? Because he jumped off the page for me when I was watching this game. I know you know who he is. Some people might not. It's the linebacker for Ohio State. But he looked like he was playing at a different speed than the rest of the game.
For sure. I mean, Arvell is a 4-star kid. And, last year, Cody Simon was our leader and our one of the captains on the team. But Arvell played a lot last season. Like Arvell, if you go back and run the tape from last year, like Arvell played in the national championship game. Arvell played probably in every game last season. And that's one of those guys where he didn't have like the game started numbers behind him, but you felt comfortable with him stepping up and being a full-time starter, because if they're trusting you enough to take reps away from your captain linebacker, who was a 5th-year guy in Cody Simon, then clearly you can play. So, I had no worries about Arvell being the guy. He's a great athlete. And, you could tell that Matt Patricia really takes liking to him, because they moved him around all over the field. Like sometimes he had his hand in the dirt. Sometimes he was lining up, standing up at linebacker. Sometimes he was on the edge. Sometimes he was in the interior. So they clearly like him. He's a freak athlete there. And, I think he's in a good spot to have a ton of success this year.
Yeah. On the other side, Malik Muhammad, just to give Texas he looked incredible also. I had him in my notes. He looked great. Kyle, what are your thoughts on the game?
I'm probably a little bit more critical of one side than I am the other. I thought Ohio State did exactly what they were going to do, and that's why I picked them. I knew how good that defense was going to be. Again, like Cottrell just mentioned, they had a lot of guys that didn't start last year but rotated in, and that's when you do that, you're not really breaking in a new defense the following year. Kids are just starters now. They still have Caleb Downs, who's the best defensive player in the country, and it allows that front seven to kind of really. I'm going to say take chances, but it allows them to play a little bit more downhill naturally than other teams can, because of that secondary behind them. I agree with you that the crazy stuff about Arch is too much, but I don't think it's unfair to be critical of him. I don't think he played well at all.
He missed drag drops at the receiver's feet.
Yeah, wide. And I mean. Like a couple critical third downs, he's throwing the ball sidearm at people's knees and everything. I mean, he gets those completions. It's possibly a different game. I thought Julian looked okay, and again, I think Julian did what Ryan Day asked him to do. He had the touchdown pass, third quarter, I guess. Wasn't a bad pass. It was a better catch than it was pass. It was underthrown, but again, it was a safe throw. So. I think Ohio State's gonna be fine. I would say this: I think they have to get the running game going. Because if I think they're going
to play a front like Texas the rest of the year.
No, they will. But I think it's. I say this in that I don't think Texas's defense is as good as it showed on Saturday.
Okay,
I'll say that.
They absolutely just to control the line of scrimmage defensively.
Some they did, but it also became. I thought a lot of what, to Cottrell's point, I thought a lot of what Ohio State did at certain times was very predictable, because Ryan Day was just going to be like, okay, like we get it here, we don't. If not, I'm just going to put my all-star defense back on the field and we'll get the ball back in 3 minutes. Yeah. And that's how he coached, and it was a good game plan. I don't think Texas is bad by any means or anything like that, but I think we talked about it a ton. Me and Cottrell have talked about it a ton. That team lost a ton offensively, and it was just going to be Superman Arch is just going to be the answer to everything. And again, I think you saw that's not going to be the way that season's going to play out. And again, some of it is masked by the fact that they played an elite defense. Don't get me wrong, but some of it also is their receivers aren't open. They didn't run the ball particularly well. Dude, like it's you if you watch that game, Sarah, you think Texas can win a national championship?
Yes,
absolutely not. Not the way they played.
I think they outgained them by like 150 yards. Like it was like Texas looked like the better football team the majority of the game.
I don't know if I could agree with that.
I'm not agree with that at all.
I mean, I think you say they outgained them, but when Ohio State pins you at the 10-yard line, you get the ball to the 50 and you're getting 40 yards there. Ohio State's not necessarily moving the ball a ton consistently. Like, I think there was never like chunk plays that Texas was getting. So like, I believe they were averaging like 4 yards a pop on the ground, but like nothing, there was never a time where you're like, oh, like Texas is really taking care of the trenches and like, moving the ball consistently or anything like that. And I felt like on the flip side of it, Ohio State was just like Bill said, you were taking your shots when you can. If it wasn't there, cool. We'll give back to our defense. They'll bend, but they won't break. Maybe they'll give up 30 yards, but Texas will be nowhere near field goal position or anything like that. Or if they got the balls to go for it on fourth down, we know we're going to stop them and get the ball back.
That fourth down, them not scoring on that fourth and goal was the absolute. And then they get the ball right back, and then they throw a pick. It's just, to me,
and that was a bad pick.
It was 10 yards underthrown.
It was underthrown. It was late. It was everything.
It was covered. It was everything.
Yeah. So,
we got 8:57.
Yeah, I'm out.
Take care, brother. Let's get in the
Love
picks.
You guys.
You gotta be kidding. Love you, brother.
I will.
Feel better.
All right, let's see. All right. So throw up the standings from last week. Ugly one from me, but I'll take the super dog points where I can get them. But I got 3 games. I feel like looking back on it, I picked more with my heart and things that I wanted to have happen as opposed to looking at it. But got some data now, got to reevaluate it. So we will get going here with 3 more. You want to go first or you want me to go?
I'll go first. You're better at college. I'll start with Texas, minus 36.5 over San Jose State. I think Texas in the trenches is going to absolutely destroy San Jose State, and they're going to want to make a statement. This is one of those games where after you get beat, you want to show your offense. You're going to show off your quarterback. You're going to run up the score a little bit. Give me Texas minus 36.5 over San Jose State. Next game is ugly. I have the over 55.5 versus 2 teams' offenses that looked unstoppable. University of South Florida versus the Florida Gators, over 55.5. I don't see how that game goes under. Love that. And then I have an upset special for you. Trap line of the week. Number 11 goes down. Give me Duke at home +3 over Illinois. And for my super dog, I love the chippiness. I didn't even realize this was a 30-point spread when I start hearing the chippiness in the media. Give me Oklahoma State +29.5 over Oregon for my super dog. I think they keep the game close. Mike Gundy's talking shit in the media. Dan Lanning's responding. It's fun. I like it. Oregon wins the game, but let me pick up 10 or so super dog points.
I like it. And I'm going to start here with some philosophy here that I know that you clearly believe in because it was one of your picks. I'm not quite going to the same game here, but I love the mindset. First game, I like Alabama minus 36.5 versus Louisiana Monroe for the exact same reason you talked about Texas getting the big time win. I think you have to let people know, hey, we're still Alabama. We got to blow this team out. Our offense looks explosive. Give the team confidence, things like that. So I think they run up the score there. Second game, I like. Again, same kind of mindset there. Another team that lost week 1 that's in the top 10. Got Clemson minus 33.5 at home versus Troy for the exact same reason. They run it up. I hate going this route, in these kinds of games here, but those just seem so easy for teams that have so much talent on offense going up against schools that are, not up to par in terms of talent there on the opposite side. But then the last game that I have here, I like the over 47.5 Virginia Tech versus Vanderbilt. Virginia Tech last week did not put up a ton of points against a South Carolina team who has a really good defense. And I think their offense is a lot better than what they showed last week. And then on the flip side of it, you have Diego Pavia with Vanderbilt. That offense is explosive with him. I think that's going to be a shootout. And I think in a week where we have a weaker slate of games, this has the potential to have absolute fireworks in it. So I love the over in that matchup. And then my super dog, I'm going down to the state of Florida. I have South Florida plus 18.5 at Florida. I'm with Gene. I think this is fireworks all over the field. But in terms of how this game is won, it's going to be a game that's won in the trenches. And I loved what I saw from South Florida. Well, I don't think they win. I think this comes down to the last possession of the game. And Byram Brown is 100% up for the task there. So I think they keep that game close. And I would not be surprised if South Florida shocks the world and gets a win at Florida.
Let's get into You Gotta Be Kidding Me. Cottrell let me know before the show he's got two. I had one. It's one of the same. It's definitely something we have to use when You Gotta Be Kidding Me. So Cottrell, give me your other one.
So this week for me, it got announced literally yesterday that Scott Hansen won on the Pat McAfee show, and Pat was asking him, you got to give us the tagline. What's going to be the opening tagline of NFL Red Zone? And he says it's going to be 7 hours of football. There's no commercial free anymore. ESPN has absolutely ruined that. And it's something that we knew was going to happen when they announced the deal. We said at some point, ESPN is going to royally screw this over. And it hasn't even been a full season yet. And they've completely done it. Now, if you've seen Red Zone in the past, you saw that they had actual ads up in the corner and things like that. But there was nothing actually that interrupted the consumption of football. Well, now ESPN, being the money hungry company that they are going in and going with actual advertisement, actual commercials there, and just ruining what had been an awesome part of the NFL and an awesome part of the viewing experience for fans there. So this week for me, ESPN not even waiting a full season to ruin what we had in NFL Red Zone.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
I'm so sick. I'm absolutely sick. I'm just gonna be very clear with you. It's disgusting to me because I love the Red Zone and it's one of my favorite things. I would pay extra money monthly. I would pay a subscription so I didn't have to watch commercials. But I want to move on to mine, and I'll just show you the video first. Framber Valdez. You just watch. Just listen to my boy John Boy Media break this one down.
For you, Framber's pitching to Trent's 2-0 game. Bases loaded. The 1-0 pitch. Catcher saying, back off, step off. Framber ignores him, throws the pitch anyway. Fastball, center cut. Grisham slams it into the Crawford boxes. Grand slam, 2-0 becomes 6-0. Grisham's happy. Framber's like, you distracted me. Grisham's got the grand slam giddies. The tongue's poking out. He's having a great time. Framber's not. The next batter comes up, Volpe, and is he mad at his catcher? Because look what he does. He just crosses him up, and it kind of looks intentional. Did you see all those reactions? The catcher takes one right to the chest. The leg looks at his pitcher like, what, dude? Are we good? And Framber throws it, doesn't care at all, doesn't say sorry, just turns and says, nah, man. Well, maybe we're good now. Even Volpe was like, wait, what? You guys beefing? What's going on? He's like, come on, man. We good? It's not cool. It's not cool at all. And Framber's like, yeah, it wasn't cool, man. It wasn't cool. Tell me to step off.
So listen. It's a clown move by Framber. It's an absolute clown move by Framber. He told you to step off. He didn't like the pitch. You threw a center cut fastball. It got hit over the fence. Then you were mad at your catcher for telling you to step off. He didn't like the pitch. And then you crossed up your own teammate to hit him with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball in the chest. I'll tell you right now, well, as soon as we get to that dugout, we're throwing hands. We're going down the hallway and we're throwing hands. You're not hit me with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. You out of your friggin' mind. Framber Valdez, you're better than that. And for that, this week, you are.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Clown move by Framber.
For sure. And I think the part that makes it worse is the catcher wasn't like, it's one thing if the catcher was like trying to show him up, like, you know, oh, this is a bad pitch, whatever the case may be. He got him before the motion really started. Like, he could have got off. Like, if he would have just listened, got off, like they could have got back to it. Like, but no, Framber was like, no, screw that. I'm throwing this anyway. And that's one of those where, you know, your pride, you know, you have this ego, you have this pride, and you're like, damn, he told me I shouldn't have done this, but I did it anyway. And now, you know, my feelings are hurt because of what happened. And I have to make you pay for that because of that. Like, the catcher really did nothing wrong in this situation. Was a little late, sure. Felt like it was a bad pitch, and granted, it 100% was. So absolutely crazy from Framber for that. And I'm 100% with you. Like, we would definitely have some words in the dugout there, because, you know, one way or another, like, manager's got to take him out the game because I'm not catching from the rest of the game, or you got to take me out because we're not doing this back and forth here.
I'm with you 100%. That's all we got. That's what we got. Any final thoughts, my man Control?
So the one thing I just wanted to run through here real quick, because I forgot to bring it up when we were going over the NFL awards for the season here.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just run through them because I got a full list.
Yes. You go first. Let's go one by one. You go, I'll go.
Okay. Go offensive player of the year. I like Jamar Chase.
Okay, offensive player of the year. So I had Jamar Chase too. I feel like I want to switch it though. I don't want to go same as you. I had Jamar.
Okay, let's leave it Jamar. If that's who you had, let's leave it that. Defensive player of the year. I'm gonna go Michael Parsons.
No way. Defensive player of the year this year will be none other than TJ Watt.
Thought you were gonna say Jalen Carter, and I like Jalen next year. But jumping the gun here. Offensive rookie of the year.
This is good.
Travis Hunter.
Trevion Henderson.
Oh, I like that pick. I think a lot of people are high on Genty. For me, I think it's going to be a 3-horse race between Hunter, Henderson, and Omarion Hampton.
I'll tell you, God, I don't think he wins offensive rookie year. I think he has a better chance of winning defensive rookie year.
So, defensive rookie of the year. Who are you rolling with?
Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter.
You have Travis Hunter winning both?
Both.
Oh, you're a crazy person. I love it.
I think once he starts playing both ways, I think he's going to get more love than he deserves on one. I think he's going to get more love than he deserves on one side, and I think he rolls the momentum. But if I didn't go Travis, though, the other guy who I had, Mike Green, is the other one that I really like on that Ravens defense, just pinning his ears back. 3 more here, and I'll just go real quick. Coach of the year.
I don't have that, but I'll give you one. You go first.
Okay. Ben Johnson is my guy.
Jim Harbaugh.
Ooh, I like it. And then did you have a comeback player of the year?
Yep, I do.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence. And if not, I'm going with your boy Justin Fields. One or the other wins.
I like it. I'm going to go Aiden Hutchinson.
Okay. That's too easy of a pick.
And then MVP.
Joe Burrow.
I'm going out on my branch.
Oh, Caleb Williams. Dork.
Caleb Williams.
You're such a dork. Any final thoughts?
Got nothing, man. I'm excited for some football. We are finally back tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy the ring ceremony, banner raising, all that good stuff.
Go Birds! We're signing out.